Haha, nice. Oh, sweet, sweet. Oh boy. Let's see where the sights are. I'll try that 2-liter out there. All right, on the last shot. Nice. We're not going to shoot 1,000 rounds, but we did want to bring you this, especially this Series 70 Colt, okay, 1911. And the reason we had the others out here, we're not going to do a big detailed historical analysis here or anything. We might do that sometime, but we have them in a line here. I thought before we talk a little bit more about the Series 70. Whoa, it's bright. And that is stainless too. It's not nickel, by the way. We have kind of a sampling of the various features of these things. This is the remake, reproduction of the 1918. So that's the way they were basically Colts originally. You know, you had a long trigger, you had a flat mainspring housing, you didn't have some of the contour cutting here. You got a beaver tail that's less than desirable. If you want to get pinched, shoot one of those, and your sights are not so hot. You know, you just got little sights and everything. So, but that's the original configuration. Not bad. It worked. I mean, in fact, I could shoot one of these all day and thoroughly enjoy it, other than the pinching factor there with that short beaver tail. I really like the feel of those. That's the way they were up until the 20s, 1920s, okay? Then we had the A1 style, and this is World War II vintage, but basically, you know, the A1, the arched mainspring housing, short trigger, it's got the same short, safety there. You got a better beaver tail. You don't get pinched so much at all, really. I don't with these. They increase the beaver tail length just a little bit, as you can see. And, you know, those were the biggest differences. There's some other minor. We're not going to go into all the detail of it, but those are the biggest differences, the beaver tail, and then that mainspring housing and the trigger. And some internal, but nothing significant, okay? And then they didn't really make any for the military after World War II. The ones they did make, the commercial ones, they took the lanyard ring off, as I understand, and then they increased the shelf on the thumb safety there. You see how short that one is? Well, this is a Series 70, you get more of a shelf, see? And there's some other differences maybe, but those are the main ones. So this is the 70, the Series 70s. Okay, now this is a reintroduction of the Series 70 that Colt has come out with in the last few years. So it's very much like the ones that were made in the 70s, except the 70s model, what they did with the bushing, I'm not going to take one apart today, but if you're familiar with the little bushing that goes around the barrel and the end, they put a fingered kind of collet bushing around that. Had four little fingers, because I had one back then, and it kind of grabbed the barrel more tightly, and they thought that added to the accuracy, and that was one of the biggest differences there. And this one does not have it. And in the remakes of the Series 70, they use a standard bushing, thankfully, because I wouldn't want to deal with those too much. And the sights are a little bit higher, I think, on this remake of the 70s. And it was not available in stainless back in the 70s. But other than that, you know, it's the same gun. Okay, it's pretty neat, because I had a Series 70, and it's neat to have one back. And I brought this one out too. This is a Series 80, and this is the 1991 models, it's called, which in a way is kind of a throwback to the originals, because it's got the flat mainspring housing, the long trigger. It's got a nicer beaver tail. It's got the A1, you know, beaver tail that these later ones have, so you don't get pinched. It has better sights, and you know, all that it makes it feel better and be a really good shooter, but still pretty much true to the original 1911. If you want a 1911 that's really shootable, and it's pretty much just like they came out, this has always been a good choice, at least since they came out with. Now, the big difference in the Series 80 is they have the firing pin block, and a lot of people don't like that at all, the gunsmiths especially, but it's got the firing pin block, just like a Glock has and the SIG and all the modern pistols, all right, whereas those don't have that. Right, none of those do, because in the remake of the Series 70, it doesn't have that either. Okay, so I'll just kind of give you a rundown of the variations of it there without going into too much detail.